Basic Beginners Tenor Guitar and Baritone Ukulele, Chicago Tuning, DGBE, Perfect Timing, A Focused Approach, Book 1. This is Lesson 4, Part 2. I had to tune up for one thing, but we were coming off of playing with Ode to Joy, I believe, and I had played the Part 2, so now I'm going to play Part 1. And you try to play Part 2, okay, as we go. Again, I'm holding things a little funny here. I'm trying to see with my dark lighting and my reading glasses, so this is very professional, and I'm having a lot of fun. What is that smudge on the under the word two? Anyway, let's try. It's 4/4 time. Starts 1, 2, ready, play. 1, 2, ready, and you're playing the second part. I'm playing the first part. 1, 2, ready, play. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, should have been pretty easy because they're all quarter notes. Does rise up and down, kind of fun to play. Let's have some half notes at the end of every line, right? Not too bad though. So one thing I want to do, as I've noted here at the bottom, this little note says, pay no attention to the small capital letters above the notes. They are chord symbols that accompany the two written parts, and we'll learn about chords later in the study, which we will, but I think we have a little already, but we'll learn more. Some of the chords here you don't know, but I'm going to play it, count it off and play it, and I'll sort of do the melody, maybe sing it, count it, whatever. I'm not going to say notes. I think I'll just da-da-da-da-da, you know, along with the chords, and you try to play part 1. Should get you a feel for playing a melody with a chord accompaniment, okay? It's kind of fun. All right, so let's start off again, and I'm playing chords. Now you're playing part 1. Oh, and you can go back and hopefully you're trying to play part 2 while I played part 1 before, the last thing we did. So you can kind of keep going back and forth, playing part 1 with my part 2 from the last lesson, and playing part 2 with my part 1 from the beginning of this lesson, and now with the chords, okay? So I'm gonna okay. I'm just gonna do something like that, but I'll slower and I'll count it steadily, okay? 1, 2, ready, play. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Halfway singing, halfway counting. I apologize for I stopped rather than remaining steady on the last line. A little, what we call that, involuntary dynamics, I guess. Anyway, I think that's good enough. You can kind of practice with all of those, rewind, practice, okay? So, we said, okay, next page 31. Okay, that Ode to Joy. 2 parts was fun. We're on this page 31 now, okay? It was fun. At least I thought it was fun. Did you feel confident playing the right notes? Did you try both parts? Was your timing perfect? And if you're not sure about any of these questions, go back and try again. That's the nice thing about the videos. You can just rewind and play again, right? Or move them back wherever each piece started. Play along. As they say, practice makes perfect. The more you play a song, the better you'll get. Now, before we move on to new songs, we're going to introduce you to a handful of new concepts in musical notation that build on what we've already learned. I think I have plenty of time here. Yeah. So we're going to get into something called dotted notes there in the middle of the page on page 31. You can see what I'm sort of showing and describing. Why is this fellow laughing? Let's see. Oh, because it's a very short song, I'll say. 4 measures, right? Just trying to show you some examples of dotted notes. A dotted note means, well, we're going to go on to it, but this is what it looks like. A little dot beside it, okay? The 2 half notes in that line, the G, the first measure, and the E up there, and I guess the second measure, they both have dots beside them. So a dotted G and a dotted E. So what's going on in this short line of music, and what do the dots tell us? As you already learned, on page 12, a half note, like the first note in the line above, gets 2 counts or beats, but when a dot appears beside the note, it increases or adds 1/2 of the note's count value to those 2 counts. So if a half is 2, half of 2 is 1, and 2 plus 1 is 3, right? That's some easy math. So the dotted half note gets 3 counts. Pretty simple. Okay, let's look at it some more, because it can be a little tricky to get used to, and it can till you do get used to it. Okay, looking at that same short line, music. Let's consider just the first measure. Remember what we've learned. Here we're on page 32. Okay, remember what we've learned about the top number 4 in the time signature. It tells us how many beats or counts are in each measure. So again, that first measure from the short line on the last page looks like this, right? So there are 4 beats going on there. The half note that's dotted gets 1, 2, 3, and the A note gets 1. It's a quarter note. And I kind of show it down here with the counts added. This one note by itself, the dot, you get 1, 2 because it's a half, and then half again, 3 because it has a dot. But then the only thing you could fit still in the measure, because it has to equal out to 4 if it's in 4/4 time. Okay, that 4 tells us that it is then a quarter note, and you get, so a dotted half and a quarter will give you 1, 2, 3, and 4. Hopefully that makes sense. Yeah. Hopefully you noticed, but maybe you didn't, that those 2 notes add up to 4 counts or beats in the measure. The counts per measure, as we've learned, should always add up to the top number in the time signature. In this case, it's a 4. So when the dot, let's see, checking my timing again. Without the dot, the measure would be incorrectly written. See, like that, no dot. Oh, it's 4/4 time. So you get 1, 2, 3. Oh, yeah, there, it's the end of the measure. Should be 4. So that's not really written right, written correctly. Okay. Okay. So that's all that's saying, is written incorrectly. Okay. So, looking at, yeah, that's page 32, page 33. Before we move on, let's try to play perfectly that whole 4 measures, that whole 4 measure line of music from page 31, using our new knowledge of dotted notes. As on page 32, I've added the correct counts for all 4 measures below the music. 1, 2, ready, play. So let's do it, okay? See that? Alrighty. Should be pretty easy on page 33. Let's go. 1. I'm going to count off. It's 4/4 time. So it should be, we're going to have 3 counts, 1 count, and 1 count, and 3 counts. And then third measure is just single, 1 count per note, and then a whole note for 4. Okay. So, and you have to play the right note, right? G, there's a G, A, B, and E. So let's try it. 1, 2, ready, play. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Messed up, so let's try it again. 1, 2, ready, play. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, didn't really mess up, but it wasn't really smooth. Let's try it one more time. It's a little tricky, isn't it? Okay, ready? 1, 2, ready, play. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I was happy with that one. More smooth. Keep trying that again. Try it without, just stop the video and try to play that properly. Play it with it to get used to it, and then just do it so it's easy. Okay? So now that you know all about dotted notes, it's quiz time. Now, question: if a half note goes from 2 counts to 3 counts when a dot is added beside it, then how many counts does a quarter note get when a dot is added beside it? Hint: remember, a quarter note usually gets 1 count, and the dot adds to a note 1/2 of its normal count. Okay, that was actually 2 hints I noted there. Hopefully you came up with the answer 1.5 counts, okay? Since a quarter note gets 1 count and the dot adds 1/2 to that value, same as before, we had 1/2 of 1 is 1/2, and 1 plus 1/2 is 1.5. Dotted quarter notes are a little tricky to count and play, so we won't be using them yet, but I thought I should. You should know about them. We'll get into it eventually here. Okay, page 34. Better check my time. No, we're good. All right, enough about dots for now. Check that little graphic. He's had enough of the dots. Let's move to something called a tie. A tie is a gently upward or downward curved line between 2 notes. We're on page 34. That let you know that the 2 notes are connected as 1 note when played. That is, you will play the note once and hold it for the length of time each note normally gets added together. Okay, and so also the 2 notes a tie connects are always the same pitch, and it connects them from one measure to the next. Here's a simple example. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the 1, 2, so it'd be like 5, 6. Okay. Let's basically getting 6 counts there. That that F note, okay? So, that curved line is a tie, you saw. This is page 34, by the way. Boy, the lighting's not good in here. So, we have in the first measure an F whole note, and in the second measure an F half note, an F quarter note, and a G quarter note. The counts are included below the notes to show that the counting stays the same with the tie added. The difference is that when you play the first F note, it should keep ringing through its 4 counts plus the 2 counts of the F note in the next measure that it's tied to. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. So it should ring for 6 counts, 4 plus 2. A little tricky, but important. Okay. If I want to go combining 2 concepts, how much time do I have here? A little bit. Let's do combining 2 concepts. Here's an example of a dotted note. In this case, a dotted half note tied together with an undotted or normal note. In this case, another half note. The counts are shown beneath the music, so you should be able to count out loud and play the 4 written notes, letting them ring for the correct period of time. Good luck. Ready, play. So there you have it, the quarter note and then a dotted half tied to getting 3 counts. That's the 2, 3, 4 below it, tied to a half, same note, a D, another quarter note, another half note, and it gets 2 counts, and then 3, 4 out there, the next D standing by itself gets the rest of the counts to make up the measure, right? Okay, so we're getting pretty low on time for this segment. How'd you do? Again, while the counting stays the same as if the tie wasn't there, the second and third note should ring as 1 combined note, the length of each one's count value added together. So in this case, it should ring for 5. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and the 3 counts of the first note in the tie, 2, 3, 4, plus the 2 counts of the second note in the tie, 1, 2, and equals 5. Okay, we're about out of time. Keep reviewing this page and the last one, page 34 until you understand it well and can play it well. Okay, that's it. Let's go to the next lesson. That was a little fast, wasn't it? Sorry.